Let's kick off with some brief introduction to you guys. That I know you both for ages. I think mainly from IFA congresses, but also from Hannes from EU VAT expert group, of course. And I think there are people. Once you meet them, you want to stay close to them, and you both are like that. Intelligent, friendly, and always nice to talk to. You are both tax partner of LeitnerLeitner. I guess you're both staying in Linz office in Austria for many years, and but I only saw that now Prague is mentioned as well. So have you moved partially to Prague as well?
I think this is true for me because it started 3 years ago. We had already an office in Prague, but one day the partner there decided to leave our firm, and therefore we left a part of our business, and therefore we were looking for some cooperation partner, but we were not happy. So at the end of the day, as Clemens said, we have a kind of special DNA within our firm, and that's what we request also from our people, and we were unhappy with the situation. And then we got a little pressure from clients to say, hey, we need some support in Czechia, can you help us? And therefore I started a kind of initiative to say, okay, now I will take the lead, I will form a new office in Czechia. We start with VAT because we had some need on that for clients. And then I was looking around for proper people. And as you know, I know a lot of people in the VAT structure and in the VAT area. And so I found some really nice guys, and this was the starting point. And then we created our own Leitner office again. Today, I think we are close to 20 people within 3 years. We are towards a fully fledged office. So we started with VAT, then it came direct taxes, payroll, and all those things. And we are very close to a really fully fledged office, and still would say good chances to develop and to grow further up. So it was quite happy. So it was necessary for me to travel to Prague and to office, but that's not far away by car. It's, I would say, 3 hours. But it was a very good experience, and I'm quite happy. How is it running, to be honest?
Great. And of course, LeitnerLeitner is a leading tax advisory and audit firm in not only Austria, but also in Central Eastern Europe. I see that you have now more than 700 experts in 15 offices across 9 jurisdictions, and you're a member firm of TaxN Network, which is a sign of the top quality in taxation itself, I think. And Hannes, you are specialized in VAT, of course, member of the VAT expert group of the European Commission, and you're an auditor as well. And Clemens is focusing on international tax, transfer pricing, private clients. Have I missed something for the intro, guys?
No, I think that's a lot.
Yeah.
You summarized very well.
All right, great.
It's for homework, Janice, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, let's, as you probably expect, we will start with football. Austria is dark horse. How dark is it? What is your prediction against Italy in Euro 2020 playoffs?
Yeah, a clear victory, Janice. I mean, you cannot say anything. Yeah.
No, only the victory counts.
Yeah.
No, actually, it will be quite difficult, but I mean, I'm not so deep into football, but I took from the media that it was the first time that we qualified for the second round, yeah. So which was a big success, but I guess there is a a high chance that this success story could end tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, Italy is one of the favorites for the whole tournament, but I think this year is interesting that there are so many surprises that probably this one could be another one.
As
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. Hannes, I wanted to ask that everybody nowadays seems to be on LinkedIn, including Clemens, of course, but why you are not there?
Yeah, good question. A very good question. Maybe it's because of my age. No, I'm
He didn't find a nice picture.
You're totally right. But one day I decided not to go there because I really said, yeah, why to switch to that? And I rather like really have personal contact. So this is what I rather preferred, what I've used. It doesn't mean that I'm not open to these things, but I saw it quite critical at the beginning, and it was a kind of how far can I go, not to link in, and exactly was really I was wondering myself, will it really work? How is the environment going? But today I'm quite happy with that. And I see it still working without these all new media, social media, etc. But as you know, there is at the end of the day no way out if you have kids, etc. But I keep it as long as it's possible because it gives me again more freedom, because I know if I see colleagues permanently looking on their iPhones and all those things and messaging coming in and out. And it disturbs for sure. If you have some free time at the weekend, I would rather enjoy with my family and not looking on things you really don't need, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow, my son is already blaming me for being old school, Hannes.
So it's some kind of protest against what's going on.
No, it's not a protest. I think in some areas I would like to be really the first mover, but this is not for exactly that issue.
It would be quite late for being the first mover. But are you generation Facebook or not even on Facebook? No social media at all?
No social media at all.
Hannes is like our finance minister. I guess he not even has a private email address. Yeah.
Cool. Now probably it's even cool. Yeah, I would say. And you're both teaching from time to time. Do you still teach? If yes, where and what exactly?
Will you start, Clemens, or I?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I actually always loved teaching. Yeah, because that's a part of transporting your enthusiasm for a topic to someone else, yeah, and to burn for a certain topic that's of interest for you, yeah. So that's something that I always liked to do very much. Yeah. I mean, I stopped to teach at university some years ago because, well, the time was unfortunately too short for that. But I'm still, trying to give presentations at certain seminars, or very much involved in the internal trainings that we have. So getting young colleagues trained. That's still, I guess, one of the also of the main responsibilities of the partner. Yeah? And that's what we decided some years ago at LeitnerLeitner, that we established a so-called LeitnerLeitner Academy, which tries to bring partners really to our colleagues. Yeah, so we always call it teaching or learning from the best in their respective fields, and request every partner in his special area of knowledge to give presentations in our LeitnerLeitner Academy. So to get really the enthusiasm over to the employees and to get them really, really well trained.
Mm-hmm. And you, Hannes?
It's exactly the same, Hannes. So I love really teaching, to be honest. It's a kind of it's entertainment, and if you really like to do something and you have the capability to present something, and you can pick up the people and see how they follow your lips and to the content. So especially even for education for our young people. So really to give them a kind of look what he's doing that's quite interesting. And to motivate people, both clients and internal young colleagues. So this is really what I really love to do. So in my best times, I would say before COVID crisis, I had seminars, presentations, I would say 50 times a year was the highest count for sure, traveling across Europe at the commission, at universities, but that's a part, as Clemens said, it's part of our work. And I really like to do it. It's kind of entertainment. And you really get back. I see it as a kind of, well, I can now understand better all those artists or they're on the stage. And for sure, we do not have 10,000 people in the arena. But for sure, I can remember there have been 1,000 was the maximum, I guess. But it's exactly the same. So if you really can pick them up and they follow what you're doing and they like it and they give something back, it's cool.
Yeah. And you mentioned, or probably I mentioned, that you are a VAT expert at the European Commission in the group. What are your tasks there?
What the task of the VAT expert group is simple. So we are kind of advisors of the European Commission. If the European Commission is working on new legislation, etc., they're really sharing our experience and asking us what are your thoughts on that. So we're really discussing on a level field to say, hey, what are your thoughts on that? And it's very interesting because first you know how the system works. We're very close. We were on the pulse of what's going on really in the field of VAT, because maybe you know it 1, 2, 3 years later what's spread out. And this is really very interesting. So first, they're real experts. So there are people across Europe where you know 100% committed to VAT, and this is really interesting and a very nice work, and it's quite cool. I love it. Yeah.
Cool. Do you remember how you started working with taxation, and especially how did you choose your path within taxation? That Hannes is more VAT guy and Clemens is more international tax and TP expert.
Well, I mean, I already during university I started to work in audit at a Big Four firm, and got already in touch also with taxes. And after I finished my studies, I decided that taxes were more, at least for me personally, more interesting than audit. And then I had the chance to be introduced to LeitnerLeitner, who was by chance in international tax deeply involved in this time. And I started just working with him, and that's how I got in touch with international taxation, and I, if you call it, fell in love with this topic, and really liked it very much. And we had the opportunity in our firm to develop ourselves the way we see it interesting, and to move forward based on your personal interests, which was really a great thing. So we were quite free in what we choose, what topics, and where we specialized. I took the chance and got a specialist in international taxation.
Well, for me, it was a little bit different, I would say. When I finished my university, I hired here at Leitner, and I came to a team where the partner was Markus Achert. So he was one of the leading VAT experts in Austria, and he's also a judge at the highest court, at the constitutional court. And so I did some VAT work, but I have been in a typical tax team. So we did all the taxes, direct taxes, indirect taxes. But I realized very soon that my colleagues really, whenever it comes to VAT or there was a question, they say, how can you do it? We don't like it. Because for VAT, you either hate it or you love it. It's love or hate. And so there, my experience increased very soon. And I liked it, to be honest. But I got through the typical path of a typical tax advisor. All the tax is very broad. Then I also, when I finished the tax exams, I said, okay, let's have a look on the audit, because there was also an audit team. And I also got a lot of experience with auditing. So I also finished the audit exams as a certified auditor. And that's what I really liked, because I got very deep insight on all the different things. If you do audits, if you do taxes, you fully understand business. You know the economics, you know the legal side, you know everything. This is, I would say, the perfect start if you dive into specializing. And that was, my heart was beating for VAT. So one day I really specialized on VAT. And I come into deeper into VAT. But I think it's very good, and it helps me to be an expert in VAT, because I am convinced that I understand a business as a total, and that I understand the management, and I understand the lawyers, and I understand the accountants, what they are thinking of. And I think it's a good combination if you do it that way. But as you said, either you like it or you hate it, and I liked really VAT. So this was, my heart is beating for VAT 24/7 in that way.
And we are happy. Which of us is happy that he likes it? So
That's a kind of VAT basket. Whenever you have something, just throw it there.
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm VAT person in my heart as well, so I share your emotions.
Yeah.
And outside your tax world, what is there? How do you recharge, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. What time do you mean outside?
Is there anything? You mentioned skiing, so
yeah, nice. I started biking now, which I really love. Yeah, I'm going by how do you call it in English, a race bike. Yeah, I really love that you got such a big rounds that you can go around. Yeah, and you really see a lot. So it's not boring. Yeah, you can see a lot, and it's I would say it's good exhausting you. Yeah, not you can manage or control it quite exactly how much you get exhausted by going on the racing bike. Yeah, so that's where I get my head cleaned up and yeah, prepared for new opportunities and tasks.
how often do you go biking?
Well, I try to be on the bike twice a week at least. Yeah, some weeks it goes better, some weeks it does not work. Yeah, and it of course also depends on the weather. Days I like to be outside and not doing it indoors.
Hannes, I guess you're not turned to golf yet.
Not yet. I'm not at all. No, what I really like is to do a lot of sports with my family. So in winter, for sure, we go out for skiing each weekend if the conditions are fine. And that's what I really like. And for sure, I do also some fly fishing, which is really my favorite sport across the world, I would say. Even it's a salmon in Iceland or whatever. So that's my real passion if I have the time to that.
So as you're both skiing, so a brief comment to our listeners about the best Austrian skiing resorts.
Definitely the Arlberg region, yeah, because I like to go off piste. Yeah, in this region you got plenty of opportunities to go off piste, regardless of what the snow situation is. In fact, so I've been there in years where we got really only very small snow levels in all Austria, and you still could find some slopes where it's still fine and where you got still some powder in it. So that's, at least talking about Austria, that's for me the favorite resort to go to.
And plenty of them. So for me personally, it takes me 35 minutes to be on the slope. So if we wake up on a weekend at, I don't know, have breakfast at 7, 7:30, and look out of the window, if it's blue sky and fresh snow, we say, okay, just pack our things and up to the slope. But when I was younger, I preferred rather areas where there was also party and something like that. There are also a lot of opportunities if you like to do some party on that. But when getting older, it's exactly what Clemens said. If you rather prefer off-piste, if you rather prefer really to go powder skiing, then I don't know, the Arlberg region is for sure number one and top, I guess, in Austria.
And as Hannes is having breakfast on 7 o'clock on weekends, you can guess how old he is already.
If you have to escape from bed.
So it sounded, Clemens, like you are not that old yet.
At least I pretend, yeah.
I guess he's a few months younger than I.
All right. And still staying outside your tax world, what is currently on your reading table? Do you have any recommendations for our listeners?
Hannes?
Oh, I hope you're not disappointed. I hate reading, to be honest. It started already in school when they told me I should read that book and that book and that book and that book. And I really hate it, to be honest. The only books I read is all these books here, the textbooks and all the things. I think I'm the only one who hasn't read more than 10 books in his life in this out of the work, to be honest. And I'm still convinced to that. I rather hear things, but I don't like to read a fat book with 200 pages. It's a kind of wasted time to me, to be honest. But I guess I'm really in the minority, I know.
It's actually a thin book. Or are you switching to podcasts or audiobooks, maybe?
For sure. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested in all the things, but it's the kind of reading a book is not what attracts me and satisfies me to do so. I really see the kind of, it's wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to love more, to read more books, but unfortunately, as you can imagine, the quantity of text literature is so huge, yeah. And I still got tons of literature which I need to go through, and it's not getting smaller from week to week, yeah. But when I got some time, of course, I'm trying to find out some good books. At least now for the holiday, I found a book called The Art of Getting Relaxed. It's something that I will probably, if I find some quiet minutes at the sea, I will go through that book, yeah, and see whether they got any additional alternatives or suggestions. Because in fact that's one of the things which are really difficult, yeah. So if you run on full velocity during the weekdays, yeah, to come down on weekends, yeah. And I mean, yeah, I not always get the chance to be on the bike immediately after work, so that I get my head cleaned up, yeah. And it always takes some time to sort up your mind and to get calm and open again. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree. It's really an art to get relaxed, because even during the vacation now, I see that I still struggle to have some relaxation. All the family tasks and everything happening around. Do you have some tips or life hacks to share regarding your management best practices about your firm? What are your secrets?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's twofold. Really take care of your clients and take them by the hand and guide them through their issues, yeah, and take it really personally, yeah. And the same is true for your colleagues in the firm and for the people working for you. Yeah? So really take them serious, take them by the hand, identify their needs and their requirements. Yeah, at least for me, that's one of the biggest success factors. Yeah, to get this personal factor in a relationship. Yeah, to take the issues really serious and give anyone the perception that he's taken by the hand and guided through difficult waters.
And for you, Hannes, have you joined 5 a.m. club or some other club?
For me, I would rather say, if you do something, no matter what it is, do it really with full passion. And then you can convince people if they see how you like it and how you do it. If you do it with passion, all the others will follow you. And I think this is really the crucial issue. And then you can convince them, and then they will support you. And if you do something together with passion, I think that's the most important issue.
Mm. And slowly getting to the business side of our podcast, what's the secret of success of LeitnerLeitner? It has become the major player in your region quite rapidly, I would say. That what would be your keys or takeaways from the history?
Maybe two things, if I may start, Clemens. I think we had LeitnerLeitner, that the name is from two brothers, and both of them have been really visionaries in their way. They realized very soon that where Europe is going, you can remember Austria is in the middle of Europe, and they realized very soon the enlargement of the EU. And they had the vision that we have to follow that because there is a business chance. And we saw that our clients, or some of them went, it's like a caravan that is crossing around. And they had really a vision to say, let's do it, let's try it, let's make that. And again, there have been real experts with real passion, and they liked the work. And by seeing how they love what they are doing, a lot of people follow them, young people follow them, because we saw a future in what they're doing. And I think this was really the main driver where we have been so successful within the last years, that we had some guidance, that we saw that if you fight for something, if you work hard for something, you can reach it. If you work together, you will reach it. And I think this is really the DNA of the Leitner. So we work together, we can immediately call our colleagues. If there is something cross-border, we have a very short response time. So because we are committed to what we are doing. If there is something, an issue to solve, we will solve it immediately and really to our best effort. And this is something that all of our people understand. And we train our young colleagues to say, hey, come on, we have an issue, please help me immediately. And no matter if you do it with different taxes, if I have an issue with another tax, I just call my colleague Clemens, and he will immediately respond. And this is something what really differentiates us, I think, to our competitors, that we are extremely fast in what we are doing, and we are doing it really to our best effort.
No, absolutely agree. I guess the secret is taking egoism out of the quotation, yeah, and really getting the best people for a certain issue on the job, regardless of who is the leading partner for a job or whatever. Yeah, I guess that's the main issue for success at the end of the day. Yeah, getting the best people for the task on the job, not thinking of yourself, trying to pull on the same rope for everyone, yeah, and all of us, yeah, and yeah, really being dedicated to quality and responsiveness, as Hannes said. That's
and don't forget the fun. I think there's also that we still having fun what we are doing, and we're loving in the office. So I think this is a crucial issue, not to be how should I say, narrow-minded. Just be open, have fun, and then you can work very well.
But that was also probably Hannes an attitude, yeah, because we got a lot of colleagues which are really dedicated to sports, yeah, and you know, really love to go also the extra thing, yeah, and love to reach goals and to go further than others, yeah, or being faster than others, and so there's always this fun or this sportive element in what you do, yeah, trying to compete, try to be better, try to have fun in what you do, and to have a passion, as Hannes said, yeah, and that's what's our DNA already back to our founders, I would say.
So even if there's a tax audit, we start, okay, we will win that tax audit, and then the match goes on. So that's how we start the issue.
Yeah, fun and passion is very important. I agree. And technically, how is your business organized across many jurisdictions? For example, are you a partner of Austrian entity or the whole group?
Would you like to explain our organizational setup? Or
we have a system that we are for sure a kind of board of international partners. So we bring everything together, and we really have one firm. So meaning we do not, for sure we have legally different firms in different jurisdictions, but at the end of the day, on top there is really one firm that includes all the partners, meaning one partner, one vote. And we do it really together. So that I think is also a kind of success factor, that everybody is responsible for everything. So if I have a client that needs support in Slovakia, I feel myself responsible for Slovakia, and vice versa. So it's not to say, okay, just submit it to our colleagues and they will take care and then it's gone for me. No. That's exactly the one firm issue, and I think again this is different to our competitors and the international big four. We really take it serious and take care cross border, and I think that's the crucial at the end of the day. So on top there is how should I say, kind of partner assembly that includes all the partners, and that's it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Lean structures.
In fact, there are no local partners finally, yeah, but only international partners who participate in the whole group.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important, and it's a very similar setup that we are having in Sorainen. That to get to be responsible for everything what is happening across the border, not only in one jurisdiction. As our podcast is called Tax Stories, do you have some story related to tax in your mind? I don't know, either from your practice, your some movies or literature.
That's a good question. What do you understand with tax stories, or what do you think?
I think that for example, I don't know. My favorite John Grisham, The Firm, is a typical tax story, but or anything that strange that has happened in your practice before. While you're thinking, I have a story about Austria in my mind that that when I got married in 2006, my first trip together with my wife was to Vienna, to Austria, and
that's good.
And we got married, and I stayed, and we both stayed under each of our surnames. And when we were in the airport, we were surprised that my wife wasn't admitted to the plane because in the database, the priest changed her surname to my surname.
Okay.
But in the passport, she stayed under her own surname, so the surnames didn't match, and the priest did it as a mistake, and of course everything ended up quite well, because the priest quickly, basically in the same day, changed the database, and we got new tickets for the next day for her. But this was sort of hiccup when I stayed in Austria one day without my wife. If we stick with the stories, I was surprised to learn that this Mr. Schumpeter was from Austria. He was a minister of finance a century ago in Austria. I run across his name from The Economist column named Schumpeter, and now while preparing for this podcast, I saw that he was a minister of finance in your country, and they praised him for as a champion of innovation and entrepreneurship. Does he have an impact on the current tax system in Austria?
On the current system, I don't know. It's for sure. Schumpeter was also a visionary, and there are some plans still the name from him. So an economic starting, but for the actual situation, I'm not really aware of something that might follow his ideas. To be honest.
Okay. And Wikipedia says that Austria is currently 14th richest country in terms of GDP per capita. Do you see that the taxation system is also a reason for the success of your country?
Well, it's difficult to say whether it's our taxation system or it's rather the taxation system of neighboring countries, which led to the fact that high net worth individuals were moving to Austria. So we have a very strong department which is helping and assisting individuals moving to Austria. Of course, maybe Austria is no tax haven for sure. Yeah, that's clear. For example, Austria does not levy in inheritance and gift taxes, yeah, which is always a big issue for wealthy individuals. We got a private foundation scheme in Austria, yeah, which is probably not the most tax attractive one, yeah, but it's a system that works, yeah. And yeah, I guess that these are the main issues. Apart from that, Austria by far is no tax haven. I do not know the statistics, but I guess we got one of the highest tax rates among the OECD members. Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to learn that personal income tax bracket is really high, above 60,000 euros. It's 50% tax, right?
That's true. But for example, investment and capital income is only taxed at 27.5%, yeah, which is on the other hand quite cheap. So unfortunately, passive income is much more preferentially, if you would like to put it tax than active income.
And there's the reason for the wealthy people, because for sure it's a combination of Austria is really a nice place to live, because you have everything there. You have the culture, you have all the activities. It's very safe. And on the other hand, if you have passive income, as Clemens said, it's more preferential. But for the ones who being in the active career with active income, I think the tax is not what was the main driver to go there and to come there.
But this high taxation, personal income taxation, has not created immigration from Austria. From Clemens, I heard it's actually vice versa, right?
Well, I mean, it's in the field of high net worth individuals, I guess active income, personal active income is probably not the main source of their income. Yeah, for them it's rather passive income, or any other capital income that they receive, but not active income. But as in terms of active income, I would say that at least from my perception, it did not lead to the fact that people which were highly qualified were leaving Austria. I suppose it is true. It's a great place to live in. Yeah, I guess Vienna has been one of the most attractive cities all over the world for several years. Yeah, so it's a stable economy. A safe country, which nice areas, and the sun has had big opportunities and a big history, and if you're dedicated to culture and so on, there are so many things that you can do here and follow here. So yes, it's just an attractive place to be.
I think it rather goes in that way that maybe for how to call it young emerging stars getting rich soon, they may think if they're young, okay, let's go first to Monaco or wherever. But if they come in an age of, I would say 50 plus, they're all returning back to Austria because, it's if you're getting older, Austria is the place to be and not other jurisdictions where maybe you pay less taxes when you're young and have high income, but at the end of the day, they're all returning back.
Sounds like the thoughts of the French economist Thomas Piketty are not so popular in Austria, that taxation of wealth is the future.
Could get difficult, actually. But
okay.
That's something that but I guess that's not an Austrian issue only. I guess that's an issue anywhere for established economies, how to allocate wealth and how to allocate the tax burden among your population. Yeah. So anyway, an international development that we will see in that respect.
Yeah. And have you seen this DAX 6 now impacting your business, your daily business, reporting to the tax authorities about aggressive cross-border tax structuring?
We have seen some actually, yeah, but honestly speaking, I guess that the time of being or implementing aggressive tax structures is anyway going to an end now. Yeah. And it's rather, schemes to be reported, which personally I would not primarily qualify as being aggressive, yeah, or as being tax evasion schemes, yeah. So, but as always, yeah, there are a lot of transactions covered by this DAX 6, which in nature are not aggressive or are not driven by any tax evasion and so on. Yeah. But anyway, these hallmarks that need to be scrutinized and followed. Yeah. So. And not every client actually understands it, yeah, because there are some clients in corporations who are really dedicated to staying compliant in all countries where they got their footprints, yeah, and are not looking for the last loophole or the last tax evasion scheme to follow.
Clemens, do you see the offshores as a problem at all? What was the aftermath, for example, of Panama Papers in Austria?
Well, that's a good question. I think in fact, but I'm not in criminal tax law, but at least my daily practice was not hit to a large extent by the Panama Papers. Yeah. But apart from that, I mean, also driven by the BEPS project and all initiatives of the EU afterwards, I think the time of aggressive tax planning, and if you take the recent developments with Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, are anyway, as I mentioned, or as I perceive it, going to an end, yeah, which to some extent also changes it a little bit the scope of our work, as compliance get more and more comprehensive and difficult, and if you would like to stay compliant in all countries, it's already getting a huge effort that you need to pay.
And speaking of aggressive practices, Hannes, do you see aggressive practices from the tax authorities in the CEE region? I know in Latvia, for example, the tax authorities are more often attacking exporters, right, to apply zero VAT rate on the sales based on some murky answers by the foreign buyer to their own tax authorities. So will these attacks end, for example, with the new VAT system coming? What's your vision?
Also a good question. Maybe within VAT fraud was always important and always played an important role for the VAT gap. I think, as you said, it's not an issue only in the CE countries, but the CE countries, unfortunately, still have higher VAT gaps, but that has different reasons, I guess, or there are multiple reasons behind. But what we can see and what is clear going on is a trend that if there is for sure fraud involved, or at least fraud suspicion, that tax authority will immediately attack everybody and everyone. And I hope it's getting better with the new systems. We can see that all these e-reporting and e-invoicing is increasing dramatically, even on the European level, and the European Commission is working on that, because again, we might have, I don't know, 0.1% fraudsters, but they really kill the business and the whole economy in the way that all the burden, the admin burden, is shifted to the 99.9% of all the others. And I think that should stop as soon as possible. And for sure, we are happy to see that if there is new technology coming up that might decrease all those possibilities of tax evasion and tax fraud, is highly welcome. But it's quite difficult to stable that the impact is not going on the honest taxpayers and the honest businesses, because they are suffering from. They do everything correct and still have to do this work on top. And this is in field of VAT a very difficult task to solve within the next years.
But you see some light at the end of the tunnel, right?
For sure. I think we now have first time with these all new technologies and chances to mitigate or to ease all this burden. But we have to be careful to do it coordinated, because it doesn't work if each jurisdiction implement its own regulations on that, because then if you're international business doing cross-border business, then you suffer multiple from these new rules. So it must be harmonized, otherwise it goes exactly the other way around.
So guys, I guess we're running out of time right now for our discussion, which I really enjoyed so far. And as traditionally, I end up my podcast with a question about your version of meaning of life. So what's your take on that?
Clemens, you may start.
Again, I think enjoy what you do and find the passion in what you do. That's the meaning of life. It's life for me, and taking sometimes things a little bit more relative.
Yeah, fun and passion.
Yeah. And I tell to my son every day in the morning, no matter what you're doing today, think twice, decide for something, and do it with 100% full passion. And then you will be successful at the end of the day when you go to bed.
Great. Guys, I really appreciate your time and in this busy time. So I thank you from bottom of my heart. So I don't know about your experience. I enjoyed the conversation.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure again to talk to you. And a really, funny hour.
Thanks, Janis. It was quite interesting, and all the best for your podcast. Quite interesting.
Thank you.